sure.
Okay. Brings us to our next round of public comment. Anybody? Please state your name and where you live.
How you doing? Ed Merriman, Newtown Walk. As you know, just a full disclosure, I am running for Board of Supervisors as a candidate. And part of that is I go out and I talk to people. And I talk to potential voters, I talk to Newtown residents. One of the things I've been hearing repeatedly is, why can't I walk to the post office? Particularly where I live, we're not that far, we could walk to, theoretically, the distance is small. But until recently, there were no sidewalks. And then the other day I'm driving down, and whoa, there's a sidewalk there. And I was very excited. And so I just wanted to say thank you. You know, it feels like there's a lot of progress being made in Newtown to help revitalize. I think it's the Business Commons area back there, kind of the little corner back there off the bypass. You know, back behind, you know, where the vet is, the Newtown Brewery. And you know, people talk about development when I talk to them. And I really appreciate the fact that, you know, the Board of Supervisors and Newtown in general is working hard to sort of revitalize the area and take a spot that's already been developed and refresh it, make it new, and that kind of thing. Because the other thing I hear from people when I talk to them is, you know, that a lot of people don't want more development. You know, particularly the open areas, they'd love to see the open spaces kept open. So revitalizing what we already have developed makes a lot of sense. So I just want to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
I don't know if you could walk to the brewery yet. Is there a sidewalk? Was there a sidewalk by the brewery? I don't believe so. That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm with you.
Anybody else?
Good evening, everyone. Charles Foyer, Newtown Walk, and I'd like to thank Mr. Merriman for bringing up pedestrian safety and the project that's being near completed at the Newtown Business Commons. And I'd like to remind the public, police, and the board that we went out and got approval from PennDOT to utilize extra funds from that project based on an overestimate of the grant funds. And I think it was $484,000 that we received permission from PennDOT to improve pedestrian safety here in Newtown. And we began, concerned citizens began, and the board approved for our township engineers to begin looking at this. But a short time ago, a couple of months ago, progress on evaluating the 30% funding that would be needed by the township, all progress on that was scuttled. It was basically one night it was shut down. And that doesn't mean that the concern isn't in the township. And I can tell you that the concerned group has continued to work on this, and we will, because the Newtown Trail, which has received millions of dollars, is lacking in safety at that point. And I think you all remember me quoting the chairman of the Cemetery Association and their feelings on that. And it's a short section of sidewalk that should be permanent, and an 8-inch curb put in to protect where the sidewalk meets the road currently. And Board of Supervisor member Mr. Mack helped me and some concerned citizens make a video that illustrated this, and PennDOT also voiced their approval with the idea of it. So based on Mr. Merriman, my neighbor, and other concerned people in Newtown for pedestrian safety, I'm hoping that we can revisit that and revitalize this program, because the citizens were never asked about raising the 30% funds. The program was just stopped. And that upset a lot of people, including someone from the township who said his dog wouldn't even walk there because of the cars. So I just thought I'd bring this to everyone's attention because I think it should be revisited in light of all the pedestrian safety efforts and funding that's available and that's being used in Newtown Township. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, that brings us to other business. Anybody want to bring up any other business?
Yes, can
That's what it says. Yes, you
I? I
can.
think all of us on the board received an email from PA Senator Steve Santarsiero regarding applications for a multimodal transportation fund grant, which is what we have been using for the sidewalk project. I was wondering, even though we have a surplus for this other grant, are we able to apply for this new round of grants? I don't know if I asked the manager this or...
We can apply for whatever we want. If there's no project to go with it, then we can't just file an application. We have to have something to file it for.
Yes. The sidewalk going along along the Newtown-Yardley Road from where the post office is, so people from Newtown Walk can not only walk to the post office now, if there were a sidewalk, and I know there's this asphalt path, but also a sidewalk that goes to the borough, which I know the senator and our state assemblyman would like to have more connections between Newtown Township and the borough. I don't know if I'm so hot on that, but you know, I know a lot of residents are, and so that's a use we can do more sidewalks, and I would include that sidewalk in there from, what is it, Cherry Drive, all the way to Elm Street, South Elm Street, or whatever it is, where that marks the borough. I don't know how much that would cost. I think the engineer already came up with a cost estimate for that. And I'm just wondering, would we be eligible for another grant?
Given the fact that there's already an MTS grant with Newtown Township, I don't think so. I can't really speak for the state though. That grant also requires a 30% match.
Right. So, in other words, I mean, we did it before, we can do it again. And if we get the help of Senator Santarsiero, I know that the representative, Perry Warren, is going to have an ice cream party. And what was it, $50 or something like that? Maybe I'll go there and ask him about that, whether the township, can the township and the borough work together on some kind of a grant? And how does that work?
That's sort of up to the board to determine whether you want to work with another municipality.
Okay. Well, I would hope and I would suggest that we apply for that grant. I mean, is it a big deal to do that?
Well, I think it closes at July 31st, is that correct? Yes,
I believe so.
This grant
July
closes
31st, yeah.
at July 31st.
So is that a problem?
I don't know, I don't write the grants or, I'm not sure.
So I'd like to make a motion that we have our engineer apply for that grant for this town, for this sidewalk with the curb from Cherry Drive to meet at South Elm Street or wherever with the borough sidewalk.
I would just like to say that I think the board as a whole, made their self known as far as what their feelings were on continuing this. And I don't think we had the votes to do so, so I don't see any reason to pursue it. since the board was not of a mind to do so.
What we had a consensus of was that we weren't going to use what was left over of the current grant for this project, but we didn't talk about getting a new grant. So, I don't know, that's a different story. It's not what we talked about in the past. So I'm offering a motion, a different motion for a different grant, that I request the township engineer to apply for this grant. Anybody want to second that?
Are we saying that there's a 30% match for this?
How much is the grant? I'll second the motion.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second.
What's the harm in applying for a grant? Is there any harm in it? Then let's do it. You can call the question, if it's a 2-2, it's defeated. Then, nobody gets a sidewalk. I'm all for sidewalks, always have been for sidewalks. I think we should be able to walk wherever we want to go.
What?
I can go.
I can't. Okay, there's 4 supervisors here. Can we have a motion? We have a second. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Open it to the public.
Oh, public. I think we heard what the public had to say, but please feel free.
Valerie Mahalik from Newtown Walk. I would like to thank Supervisor Mack and Supervisor Calabro for making that motion. If the importance is to have sidewalks throughout the business commons, I drive that way all the time. I'm a NAC member, so I use those roads often to go from where I live to there. And I don't see a lot of pedestrians walking there. Where I see pedestrians walking is into the borough. Our neighborhood was named Newtown Walk to walk into the borough, to have access to the borough. So if safety is a concern, and the residents from not just where we live, but the surrounding communities want to walk into the borough, as my neighbor Charlie Foyer has stated, that part of the sidewalk is not safe. It's just not. And if there's a grant that can match it and there's funding to make an area safer, I do believe it would be your due diligence to really look into that. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Madam Chair, may I ask you a question? Will if the motion passes, will it result in the expenditure of funds by the township?
Correct, $30,000.
Well, that's if we get
Yeah.
the grant, but I'm talking about in applying for it. Will the engineer be required to draw plans to submit with the grant application?
The engineer already has a whole plan drawn up that was presented to the board for a sidewalk from Turney Drive to Elm. That work has already been done and probably paid for already. So, I don't see, writing a grant, I could probably do it. All I needed are the numbers.
I just need an answer to the question because the Sunshine Act does not allow a motion to be made that's not on the agenda at least 24 hours before the meeting that requires the expenditure of funds. If this does, it would have to be placed on the next agenda.
Oh my God, the Sunshine Act.
Well, we don't know if there's an expenditure, do we?
I don't know.
Well, then if you don't know, then the answer's no. Are you trying to make up expenditures?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I'm raising a legal question.
Let us be sued. We'll be sued all the time anyway.
So is there any further action to be taken? Do we need to give direction? Do we need to vote on giving direction to Liana?
We need to vote on the motion.
Yes, well, we had the motion, we had the second, we had comment from the board, we had comment from the public. Now, I'll call the question. Are all those in favor of seeking out this grant by, has to be in by 2 weeks? By the end of the month? All those in favor, and I'm just gonna say that because of we can always explore it. I would not like to do a match from our funds, which we're trying to skimp and save in order to give it to, I think, what's more important to me, which is fire. But that, if you're all of a mind that you want a sidewalk there, by the way, I might just say that I would ask, the cemetery, since they are very well off, if they would put their own sidewalk there. I mean, that would be another option that you could
It's
have.
not their property, they can't do that. What makes you
Well, it
think
is
they-
their property.
No, it is not.
That driveway is not their
No,
property?
the driveway is, but the sidewalk is outside of their property line. You go look in the county maps for property owners, and I'll show you that it's not. Their property line runs right alongside that path. The path is right outside the property line. So they have no right to build anything outside of their property line.
So, okay, let's call the vote. All those in favor of taking this a step forward and trying to find out if we can get this grant, please say aye. Any opposed? No. Passes. 3-1.
Thank you.